We turn our attention now to the unrest in Iran. CBS News foreign correspondent Holly Williams is following the latest developments from neighboring Iraq. Holly, good morning. How does the situation seem and feel where you are?
Good morning, Errol. Well, President Trump repeatedly threatened to hit Iran hard in recent days and was thought to be mulling over possible military strikes. But with thousands of protesters now reported dead, yesterday President Trump said that he'd received assurances that there would be no more killings. And he said he would, quote, watch and see what the process is. This video appears to show Iranian security forces raiding a hospital and searching for wounded protesters. By some estimates, more than 12,000 people may have been killed in Iran's crackdown. Now President Trump says he's had assurances the violence has ended.
We have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place.
Iranian human rights groups had warned that one protester, Irfan Soltani, was scheduled to be executed yesterday. The regime now says he hasn't been sentenced to death. Iran's government may have ended its campaign of deadly reprisals, but the protests have likely left it weakened.
Okay.
In the mountains of northern Iraq this morning, just 30 miles from the border with Iran, we met with fighters from an armed and outlawed Iranian opposition group, the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan. Commander Sayran Gargoli told us the protests in Iran have given them hope.
Sounds like you're saying that there's a real possibility that the regime can be toppled.
Yes, she told us, if the people who are demonstrating on the street get international help. The group represents the Kurdish ethnic minority, around 10% of Iran's population. Mustafa Hijri is the group's leader and told us they have thousands of members inside Iran.
And if you give the word, they will take up arms and rise up against the regime.
Yes, he said, but he told us for now it's too early. Hijri told us his group would welcome US strikes on Iran if they targeted the Iranian regime's security apparatus. Errol.
And Holly, what does this all mean for the regime in Tehran and its grip on power? It appears to be slipping, but we've been here before.
Well, Errol, even before these protests, the Iranian regime was weakened. It was weakened by international sanctions and a flailing economy, including problems with its currency and inflation. It was weakened by a war with Israel last year, by US strikes on its nuclear program last year, by the collapse of its ally in 2024, the former Syrian regime, and the decimation of another ally, Hezbollah in Lebanon, by Israel. But just thinking about the last few days inside Iran, if you're an authoritarian regime, and the only way you have of dealing with mass protests is cutting off the internet for nearly a week now and killing thousands of people, that doesn't look like strength. Arguably, at least, that looks like a desperate attempt to cling on to power. And now, if President Trump is correct and the regime has made these concessions, saying it won't do any more killing and it won't carry out any executions, then that's actually problematic for an authoritarian regime. Authoritarian regimes normally rule based on violence and the threat of violence. Now, we obviously do not know what's going to happen in Iran. The security apparatus is still powerful and seems to be quite ruthless based on the recent crackdown. But certainly some Iran watchers believe that the Iranian regime, the Islamic Republic, is at its weakest point since it first came to power with the Iranian Revolution in 1979.
Which is no small detail, just fascinating. Holly Williams reporting live for us from Iraq. Holly, as always, thank you.